In the absolute silence of deep space, where no air carries sound and no light, Voyager 2 has been unmanned to its reaches, drifting farther than any of us dared imagine. A ghost ship powered by atoms that are breaking down, sailing into the black unknown, transmitting fragments of far-off realities back to us. However, something changed recently. A hidden image emerged from those pieces. Beneath waves of harmless data, something was rediscovered, not by accident, but through the use of artificial intelligence to spot what the human eye could never see. And what it discovered was terrifying. It wasn't a glitch or a random blur. It was structure, design, purpose, a hidden image that confirmed what so many feared but never dared to speak aloud. Voyager 2 didn't just witness space. It could have witnessed something watching us. Since their launch in the 1970s, Voyager 1 and 2 have evolved into more than machines. They are the furthest extensions of human curiosity. While Voyager 1 took the lead through Jupiter and Saturn, Voyager 2 was assigned a trajectory that was even stranger: the forgotten planets, Uranus and Neptune. It wasn't just about visiting them. It was about changing what we thought we knew. Voyager 2's flyby of Saturn in 1981 shocked scientists when it captured a detailed rendering of Saturn's outermost F-ring, which revealed intricate braids and kinks that defied the neat, static assumptions we'd made about ring systems. Instead of uniformity, there was chaos and order fused together, a kind of sculpted beauty that hinted at something more than random gravity at work. However, it was its excursion to Uranus in 1986 that caused real shock throughout the astronomical world. It wasn't just that Voyager flew by a cold, spinning planet. It revealed secrets long avoiding public view: undiscovered moons, unexpected rings, magnetic chaos. It passed through a plasmoid, an entire structure of planetary magnetism, and didn't just record it. It survived it. That image, the one recently flagged, was taken just before Voyager crossed through the magnetic field of Uranus, before something odd happened with its instruments. Years later, long after Voyager 2 had made its historic passes, NASA's spacecraft entered the outer heliosphere. They handed over terabytes of old image data to independent research groups and private AI developers to analyze. These were not brand new transmissions, but archives, many of which had never been reprocessed with modern technology. One such data set came from Uranus. The image, long believed to be static noise, was run through a new AI filter designed to detect visual anomalies that are not random. What emerged was astonishing. In the midst of static, icy blue haze and magnetic noise was a faint but indisputable symmetry. At first glance, it resembled a torus, a ring shape often seen in magnetic simulations. Yet the inner pattern was clean and precise. It resembled circuitry, not just shapes but alignments, as if something artificial had briefly entered Voyager's field of view, or worse, had been there all along. The team double-checked the source. The data hadn't been altered. This was raw, original transmission. As Voyager 2 went beyond the edge of the solar system, it crossed the heliosphere, the bubble that protects Earth and its neighboring planets from galactic radiation. Most thought it would go silent, or that beyond that point, readings would be meaningless. But in 2018, something unexpected happened. Plasma from Voyager's wave instrument picked up a faint, persistent hum. At first, it was dismissed as background noise, the natural turbulence of interstellar space. But when examined further, it was revealed to be a signal. Not a transmission, but a consistent tone representing the plasma's density outside the bubble of the sun. It was a first in human history, a live, continuous reading of the material that floats between the stars. But then the density started to change its rhythm, a rising and falling pulse, slow and deliberate, that scientists described as eerily regular. Now, 14 billion miles away, Voyager 2 was listening to something that was not supposed to have rhythm, not supposed to have structure. Some began to wonder, was it picking up something natural that mimicked intelligence, or something intelligent that mimicked nature? Amid this hidden image, many researchers returned to Voyager's most iconic photo, the pale blue dot, Earth, suspended in a sunbeam cut down to less than a pixel in size. But what if that viewpoint was not exclusive to us? What if something else had already been watching long before Carl Sagan urged us to consider our fragility? The new AI-enhanced image from Voyager 2 had a chilling resonance with this question. The symmetry, the precision, the proximity to Uranus's plasmoid event, all pointing in the direction of possibility that the instruments aboard Voyager caught a presence not apparent in full but revealed through geometry, electromagnetic distortions, and plasma behavior. A presence that appeared and vanished, never again repeated, as if it was watching, not revealing. Scientists are now debating whether this image might represent the first accidental photograph of a completely different thing. Something that exists beyond visibility, but left behind only a little bit of a signature for us to notice. Not a message, but a trace. Shortly after the hidden image was flagged by AI, a retired mission engineer came forward with a 1986 log entry that had been lost, recorded in the midst of Voyager 2's Uranus encounter. The entry mentioned a brief and explained data surge lasting 2.4 seconds, during which several onboard sensors recorded minor but synchronized voltage irregularities. These were dismissed at the time as interference from Uranus's unstable magnetosphere. However, when the timestamp was layered over the recently discovered image, the alignment was perfect. That moment of visual anomaly matched the very instant Voyager 2 experienced what's now being reconsidered as a proximity field event. If this is true, it would imply something passed very close to the spacecraft. But what's truly alarming is what didn't happen. No collision, no damage, no change in trajectory. It's as if the object was able to maneuver perfectly around either Voyager or phase through it. The idea sounds absurd until you realize that the instruments on Voyager weren't malfunctioning. They were overwhelmed. Something affected every system at once before vanishing. The AI that first uncovered the hidden image was designed for object recognition, color correction, and structural pattern matching. However, during extended runs on the Voyager dataset, it started acting unpredictably. It halted processes mid-cycle. It flagged harmless data as critical. In one documented case, it even auto-terminated an image analysis loop, following the pattern's interpretation as a cognitive feedback hazard. The development team dismissed this as overfitting a classic example of AI being desensitive. But some began asking, what if the algorithm didn't fail? What if it was reacting to something it recognized as conscious? In deep learning, models can be tuned to recognize intentionality in data, such as identifying faces in a crowd or detecting coordinated satellite movements. But this AI, exposed to Voyager's hidden image, may have sensed structure far beyond passive order. Not just geometry and mathematics, but something like awareness, something that turned back. While the public focused on the visuals, others turned their attention to the data surrounding the transmission itself. Voyager 2's signal strength is weak and decades old, spanning billions of miles. Yet incorporated within those streams are plasma wave fluctuations, faint echoes of space itself. One physicist noted that during the moment the hidden image was gathered, the wave data were arranged in a fractal spiral that was almost perfect. That pattern repeated once, then again, then stopped. Across decades of space probe data, nothing similar has ever been recorded. The implication: the spiral wasn't a natural occurrence. It may have been a response. A pulse sent not from Voyager, but to Voyager like a knock on a door, waiting for it to be answered. Perhaps the most disturbing idea did not originate from a scientist, but from an anthropologist who had been studying ancient cartography. When shown the AI-enhanced Voyager to image, she claimed that its structure resembled star maps found in Babylonian stonework and Aboriginal Dreamtime depictions, circular designs, intersecting arcs, central nodes. She wasn't suggesting aliens had visited Earth. She was implying that whatever Voyager saw and whatever those ancient cultures sensed may have come from the same universal memory. That perhaps humans have always possessed glimpses of what lies beneath the cloak. And now, thanks to a robotic scout flung into the dark 50 years ago, we may finally have photographic proof to back it up. The hidden image isn't just data. It may be a map not of where we've been, but of where something else already is. Voyager 2 was built to observe, not to intervene, to witness, not to warn. Yet, after decades of silent flight through the vast darkness, it has become something far more than a machine. It's become the messenger of a truth we weren't prepared to hear. Hidden within the static, buried in forgotten frames and dismissed anomalies, lies a single image, one that whispers a question too big to ignore. What if something was already there, awaiting our arrival notice? This isn't fiction. This is data. This is science colliding head-on with intrigue. And the moment we allowed artificial intelligence to enhance what we discovered, we found what human eyes had missed, not chaos, but intention. Patterns, pulses, symmetry that doesn't occur by chance. Voyager 2 may have crossed more than just the border of our solar system. It may have crossed into someone else's domain, a place where we are not pioneers, but intruders. And now that we've seen it, now that the veil has lifted even slightly, the world has changed. Because the greatest fear is no longer being alone in the universe. The greatest fear is that we're not and never have been. If this opened your eyes to the possibility that we've already made contact, even unknowingly, then you need to be part of what comes next. Subscribe for future revelations as more images are decoded. Comment below, do you believe Voyager captured something real, or are we seeing what we want to believe? And share this video because the silence in space just spoke, and we can't afford to ignore it.